everyone, welcome back. I was talking to a friend today and I wasn't going to do any more videos like this whatsoever, but something was said or done at work that kind of like triggered me into my past, and so I kind of spilled some beans, so to speak, to my coworker, which is a close friend of mine now. She already knew about a little bit of my childhood, and I'm trying to remember what was said. I don't remember, but I had spilled a bunch more stuff. Oh, I know what it was. She asked if I watched a specific program, and I told her that I was really restricted on watching TV when I was young, because when I would go to school and come home and I would just start watching TV, my stepdads, both of them, would come home and turn the channel immediately, and they would proclaim that they pay the bills, they have the right. And I would stand up for myself and say, I had 5 more minutes or 10 more minutes, and that wouldn't have made a difference, I mean, I'm a kid, and back then you just had one TV if you were lucky. That kind of started it. Before I go any further, I know my sister watches my videos. And just reminder to you, dear sister, that nobody knows you. Nobody who's watching these videos know you. I've never said your name and never will. And that way, you're protected. And the reason why I say that is because I'm fixing to mention you in this. So we were talking about how I was restricted on going outside. I never really had the chance to go outside and play as a kid. And even early teens, I was very restricted on the days and length of times that I had to be outside. Well, I didn't have to be outside. I was just, if I went, I had to choose the days and the times were given to me. Let's just say that. So I was talking about that, and for some reason I veered off on a whole different conversation, and some of what I'm going to say is abbreviated. So if you don't know what these abbreviations stand for, I don't know if Google will tell you, but you probably could put 2 and 2 together and know where I'm going. So I was telling her about the times where my first stepdad, would present himself in a robe in my bedroom, totally nude underneath. And a lot of the times, he would have the robe open, and he was sitting on my bed, very exposed. And I'm like, this was at 10 and 11. But it all started at 5, or he tried to unclothe me. This is when I told my mother, and she drove to where he was that day. I was 5, keep in mind. She drove to where he was that morning. She was angry, and I was scared. I was scared to what they weren't even married yet either. I was scared to what he was going to do, because I did not know him that well. And then my mom was so angry. I never seen her like that. And so he was at the dentist office. They came out in front of the front doors, and you could tell she was throwing hands and stuff. And then he tells her something, and she believes it. And what he tells her was, I was having a nightmare. I was calling my sister's name, and he comes in there to comfort me. And I'm like, by taking my panties off? Trying to take my panties off? No. He didn't succeed, because I was pretending to be asleep, and I was pretending to be stirred awake, and he got mad and left. And this was like 15 minutes before my mom was due home. She got off at midnight. And mind you, she barely knew him at that time, to leave me alone in his apartment in the living room floor, asleep or even awake, while she was at work. Yeah. And there are parts of that childhood that I don't remember, and I know I blocked them out. But how did I The bathroom was in his bedroom. It was a 1-bedroom apartment because his apartments did not allow kids. And my mom, like I said, just met him. We would go spend the night there. So I'm like, as an adult, how did I get ready for bed? I had to go through his bedroom to the bathroom to get ready, and I never remember that. So back to where I was. So she gets in the car, and I'm looking at her like for an answer, like, what do you say? What's going on? And she's told me what she said. You know, he said I was having a nightmare and blah, blah, blah. And I told her, no, I wasn't. I was awake. She did not believe me. Fast forward to a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. My sister confirms to me that later that day, she goes to pick my sister up from somewhere, and my mom tells her that she's pissed off because my stepdad tried to SA me. And I'm like, what? It was the same day, but later in the day. So, as an adult, and 3 weeks ago, I was thinking, because this is the first time I heard this, and I'm like, wait, so she still believed him, and she was still mad about it, because this was later in the day. So she believed me, not him. I might have had that wrong. She did believe me, because she was pissed and talking to my sister about it. And so I was talking to my friend today, and I'm like, I had forgot this conversation with me and my sister had happened. And I'm like, you know what? After I told her at 5 years old what happened, and that she was still angry later that day, believing me, because she told my sister that she was angry about it, she stayed with him until I was almost 12. So today I was thinking, my mother, my abuser, one of my many abusers, knew from day one that this had actually taken place. And she stayed with him until I was almost 12. And he tried multiple times. He even had me hold his member multiple times. And I would tell her every time. And the saddest thing about this is, I knew every time he would call me his little girlfriend was the nights he would be in my room at night. And I would tell my mom every single time. I don't remember what her answer was, probably because I just blocked it out thinking, are you not going to help me? Later in my adulthood, I had approached her more than one occasion and said, all I want from you is an acknowledgement, knowing that you know what you did and that you are sorry. She would tell me forever she'd done nothing wrong. She's not sorry for something she didn't do. And I'm like, are you serious? And now knowing what I know, I'm like, this is why I'm doing the video. I am angry about it. Yes, Mom, I know you watched this video, my videos. I still forgive you, but I'm angry with you, very angry. And I don't know why 2 of my kids still even talk to you. I have no clue why. Now keep in mind that when she finally did leave him, he threatened to kill her, to RAPE me. Yes. And it took 6 days for her to leave. 6 days. That's not the end of the story here. She left him on multiple counts from, I don't know when it started, until she finally did leave him. She'd always go back to him. Okay, my story does not end there. She meets another man a month maybe even less than a month after she leaves my stepdad. Another alcoholic. No, more restrictions, more verbal, mental abuse. The only thing that, well, he did physically abuse me once. He choked me. But when I was 16, I tried, well, 15, as you know, I've done a video on these. 15, I tried to unalive myself, but it was a call for attention. I needed for her to realize what she was doing to me. Sit down, Mom, let's talk, you know? At 16, I overdosed. I was doing it. I'm tired of the way I was being treated. I took everything in the house. Did she ask me once why? No. The very next morning when I went and got her, I was screamed at, called stupid, sick in the head. I needed head help, you name it. And she didn't ask me if I was okay. She never said she was sorry. She said she didn't know that there was a way out with my first stepdad. She didn't even care with this guy. So, no. She would say that it was my mouth. I didn't know when to shut up. I was my own protector, Mom. I had to speak up for myself. You never did. So, you know why she left this guy? She caught him at a bar a couple of times and she swears up and down he cheated on her. Not that he did his own little of abuse to me, but she swears up and down he cheated on her because she caught him at a bar. I was 15 or 16 years old and she had me in a car late at night. I think I had to go to school next day. Driving to a bar where she found him. I don't remember what happened after that. But I remember asking her, are you going to leave him now? So, yeah. I had nobody to protect me. Not one person in my whole life. And my mother should have protected me. My own mom. So, I did this video for more than one reason. One, I'm mad. Two, I know my mother will see this. I don't want to go to her face for more than one reason. Because I just don't want to see her. I don't want to look at her. I don't want any more memories to pop up in my head of what she put me through. I have nothing else to do with my mom and have it in 2 years. And before that, it was 12 years. Another reason is because I want kids who may see this to know that there's ways out. Call the police and tell the police, hey, this is what's going on in my life. My mom never told me to call the police, so I didn't really know. I grew up in this atmosphere and I did not know that this was abuse. I knew it was wrong. But, and you know, mind you, I got beat in my first stepdad and in every other way of abuse. But I didn't know that if I called the police, I probably could have got rescued. My mom never told me. My mom never sent me to the man who's supposed to be my biological dad. No. So for the kids who might see this, or even teenagers, if you're going through what I have just described, call the police. Call the Department of Health. I think that's what you call it now. There is help for you guys. There is. And if you feel like I felt, that I felt like I was protecting my mom, and why I thought that, I don't know. I don't know where that even popped in my head and why. But I did. I felt like if I left to go stay with my supposed to be biological dad and stayed with him, that my mom would get killed. Now, I will say this, I had multiple nightmares of that situation that my stepdad would be on her, unaliving herself. Unaliving her, not herself. So there's a way out. And you should get out. Because, and early as possible, actually, if your own parent cannot protect you, then you've got to protect yourself. And that would be the right thing to do. This is my long video of the day. I'm still quite irritated. I'm still angry because, of course, I was triggered, and that's normal. And it's like, I don't know. I'm kind of blocking things out again. And it's not a normal thing to do. You need to process it and get it out. But I've done that a couple of times. And I've done it to the point where I told her twice, verbally to her face, I forgive you. And you're watching this now. I do forgive you. But it does not mean that I am not angry. It doesn't mean that I cannot be angry about that situation. And this is why a lot of people don't talk to you in the family. Because you're psycho. Because you are psycho. You are an abuser, and you're a person who allows abuse, and yeah, karma. You have to come back and live this life all over again until you learn your lesson. Yep. I feel bad for you. I need to get off here. I feel all my star family around me. I feel all of them. It feels like it's a tremendous energy that I'm feeling. This morning, I channeled some information that I felt really good about, and it was more or less that I have started the beginning of my path. I have awakened and everything, and I guess I've done things without knowing, and my channeling has like quadrupled, and I'm so thankful. And I had a friend who pulled a card for me after I told her. I was just told that I'm just starting my mission. She pulled a card and it confirmed it, and I'm like, whoa. And she's pretty gifted herself. She's one that I had said in one of my videos, we are 2 of 3 of the witches back when we were getting burnt. So I don't want to keep talking, so I'm going to let you go. And I am so happy that you listened to me rant and rave on here. And I will try to minimize that because this is not what my channel is about. And I just needed to get that out because I know she watches this, and I just wanted her to know that yet again, yeah. So I love you guys. I really do. And I'm really glad that you stick out and listen to my off of the wall conversations sometimes. So yeah, I love you, and I'm going to send you love, light, and peace. Bye.